Hey guys, how's it going and welcome back. So we are going to take a look at the Jamman Express. This is a DigiTech looper pedal. It is discontinued, so you will have to find yourself a used one somewhere. Now, this one here I'm renting from Long McQuaid, so it'll be back in their store in North Bay in a few days. So if you're interested and you live in the North Bay area and you want this one, I think if I remember right, they said it was going to be somewhere around 80 bucks. I won't swear to that, but I think it was somewhere around that price. But it is a discontinued pedal, but it is a looper pedal, and looper pedals can be a lot of fun, you know, because you can work on, you know, stuff like, you know, and add in your. So we're going to try and see what we can pull off. I'm still not that great at doing all this, but I'll give it my best shot anyhow. So it's pretty easy operation. You stomp it once, start recording, stop it again, it starts to do the playback, and of course you got to be pretty quick on the hop if you want it to be seamless, okay? And then of course you double tap to stop completely. Tap it again once, you start the playback again, and of course you've got your dubbing in there. The instructions are actually, I'll read you the exact instructions. So, step on the foot pedal once to record, step on it again to hit play, step again for overdub. Number 4 is while playing, press and hold the foot switch, okay, and it does an undo redo dub. Press foot switch twice to stop, and press and hold when it's been stopped, and it'll completely clear the pedal. So there's your actual instructions. So hopefully I can give you a good bird's eye view of that. Okay. So I got some distortion turned on the Orange 55RT, a little bit of reverb, and I'm using my Epiphone SG Standard for this, with the distortion that's built into the amp. Point, you stop it, push and hold, and done. So now it's completely cleared out. So even though I kind of made a disaster of it, like I said, I'm not that great at doing that kind of a mix yet. I haven't touched a looper system in I don't know how long, a long time. And I used to be pretty decent at it, but when you quit something, you kind of like get really messed up with it, because yeah, you forget how to put things together with the looper and the right timing, and you know, the right notes with the chords, and you know, I mean, it's something you got to practice all the time. But it is pretty handy, you know, especially if you want to just sit here and that was a total disaster. But you get the idea. It works really well, but you do have to be very quick between hitting the button initially and playing in order to actually make it seamless. So I think one of the things we could probably do is time it so that we start playing. Of course, that was a disaster too. I apologize for the fact that I can't do that very well, but like I said, it's been a long time since I played with loopers. But, you know, the guys at Lawn McQuaid suggested that even though this is an older pedal, and yes, it is discontinued, that, you know, this is something that's definitely not on my channel. Well, it is now. And I can't personally, honestly make it justice. But you get to see definitely the operation of it. You get the idea how it's used. You can set your level. You know, so if you even want to bring that level up to here, right? You can turn the initial track down and then figure out where you want to have it so that you have more above and balance that out. But your initial first track you lay down, that's where your level is going to be controlled for the output, so that when you do your dub, then you know you're going to be at whatever loudness, and you're going to have to play with it from there. But that's the basic loop, right? This basic looper does a really neat job. As far as the rest of it goes, I think it's a really neat little machine. They do say on the box here too, timing is everything. Okay, so you have to have really good timing. Now you do get 10 minutes of stereo looping, and of course it's the perfect looper for your pedal board or in addition to your Jamman XT looping setup. Incredibly easy to use, definitely dedicated LEDs clearly showing its status, blah blah blah. So I mean, 10 minutes of looping power is actually pretty good. And for something that is in absolute perfect cherry condition, and for 80 bucks, I think it's a good deal, because I think it was, well, it was definitely well over, I think it was like 130, 140 new for this. I'm not quite sure. I'd have to see what information I can find on it, but it was definitely up there a bit. And I got to thinking, you know what, let's try it out. I mean, I don't need a looper. I have one built into my ME80 pedal board, so I really don't need a looper, although that is, I think, only like 40 seconds or something on my board. But for 10 minutes of looping time, that's not too shabby. If this is all you need, is just the basics, and you want to save a lot of money. If you want to spend more money, I would recommend something like the Boss RC5, the Nux Loop Core. Those pedals can go for hours. I mean, you can record your entire band session on there for the whole night, so that on your breaks you can just, you know, hit the memory button to whatever song you guys have recorded, even with vocals, because there is a way to hook them up to your PA mixer to do it all, so you can do it all in your rehearsal hall, have it all done, boom, and you're good for the night. Now there are other inputs on this as well, where you've got your jam sync in and out connectors as well. So when they talk about the jam sync, it's obviously another device that can go along with this, and you can have a boatload of fun with this thing. But anyways, I think as far as, you know, being that it's, you know, it's a product, it is a used product, for 80 bucks, I think that's a pretty good deal for the money and for what you get. And if you already have part of this series already, like they say, you know, hook it into your jam sync system, then perfect. You know, you've got that match up to the system and plug and go and have a boatload of fun. Just use it on its own. It does have mono in, mono outer. Of course, you can run stereo in and outs on this thing, because you do have right in, left in, and right and left outputs for stereo hookup if you want. It's so basic, anybody can run it. And once you learn the buttons, which is like boom, that quick to do that, it's pretty good. But you do have to be pretty fast on that button with your playing. So I would probably start playing what you're going to start with on your first chord first, like get that going, and then you're ready to start on that one beat again. Smack the button down to the precise second as you're going to go back into one. So you got to count it off like 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1 and 2 and 3, 4, whatever you're doing for your time signature, and then hit the button, boom, and you'll be in perfect sync for a seamless recording. Because those stall outs kind of suck, right? But continually going over, and then you can overdub, and then you can, oh, if you, I don't like it, you can just press and hold, wipe that overdub off, start again, still keeping your original material intact, works fine. And 10 minutes, I mean, that's a couple of songs anyway, right? So you got lots of time. So for me, I would definitely have to say, you know, I would put this, I'm going to go with a solid 4 out of 5. I think there should be more recording time. Even, you know, like a half an hour would be better. I mean, considering what it costs new, and then when you compare it to something like the Nux Loop Core, which has over 6 hours of record time, plus a rhythm machine built in, and they're like only 130 bucks new. This is obviously going to be around that kind of money, maybe a little bit more, as a brand new item in comparison. But, you know, it's 80 bucks used, right? I would think there should be more recording time for a basic unit. I've seen other pedals that are cheaper, but then again, they also had far less recording time than 10 minutes. But then I've seen some, obviously, around the same price that have more recording time and maybe even some other features. It's kind of a thing. But, I mean, brand name does dictate price too, right? Like, I mean, DigiTech, they're not high-end, but they're not the lowest feed on the crop either. You know what I mean? They are pretty decent. I've had some DigiTech stuff in the past, and I gotta tell you, I really do like some of their stuff. I mean, they do make some really cool pedals and whatnot that are very good quality and will run for the long haul. Now, as far as this thing goes, it's a sealed unit, so I don't believe it can run batteries. If we unplug it here, there's definitely no battery in there. I'm not taking it apart, obviously, on camera or off camera, but it's definitely not a battery powered thing, so it is going to run off. Oh, wait a minute, it will run battery, the side of the box. powered off of a 9-volt battery or power supply. So yeah, you can disassemble it. You can take out the 2 screws, pop it open, and put a battery in it. So I just looking at the box now on the other side, and it's like 10 minutes of stereo record time. Jam Sync automatically synchronizes loops with other Jam Man XS pedals, true bypass, independent LEDs, overdub play status, unlimited overdubs with undo redo within that 10 minutes, of course, silent clear, and of course powered off of a 9-volt battery or power supply. So they call it the Jam Man Express XT, the most full-featured compact looper. Well, I don't know. You can say it's definitely got some features to it. Good to know, though, that we can actually take this thing apart and get access to the battery compartment. So what do you say we take a look and see the insides of this thing? Let me just peel this amp off here. So that means we can go inside and not getting any caca. I wasn't sure about that because it said it right on the box. So yeah, obviously, because the MXR, you have to take them apart to get access to the 9-volt battery. And I'm kind of curious if there's maybe even a dead battery in this thing. So now that we know, let's find out. Make sure you use a proper size screwdriver too, so you don't mess with the screw heads. And there we go. That's the inside, and that's our battery compartment. And that's what the circuit board looks like too. So the cover and the 2 screws, away you go. Piece of cake, guys. And there's no battery in here, so we don't have to worry about that as being a problem. Just pop the cover back on, throw our screws back in, and we are good to go. So I guess that brings us to final score 4 1/4, because it can actually run a battery or the supply. Now, if you don't want to go through the trouble of taking this thing apart to change a battery every once in a while, I mean, the battery will last you a long time in something like this. I mean, it's not, but you do need to make sure you unplug your cables if you are running a battery, because likely it's going to be a lot like Boss pedals and the MXR is. If you have a battery in this thing and you leave the cables plugged in, it'll probably drain your battery because it activates a switch inside. So for that, I would definitely say if you've got a battery in here, unplug at least your input cable, but figure out which one. Sometimes it's your input that triggers the battery. Sometimes it's just the output that does it. So you got to figure out which cable, but I'd still unplug both anyway. If you are going to use this for battery for portability that way. But otherwise, just use the power supply. It uses any standard power supply, whether it's Boss or Outlaw, as long as it's for a pedal and your polarity is clearly marked, that you have to have negative on the inside tap. There is information for that. I don't think they have it on the pedal though, but it is standard, because we did plug it in, and that power supply coming in is negative on the inside tap, I believe. I'm just going to verify that for you guys. Yes, negative is in the inside tap. Now, it doesn't mark it here, but you do need 150 milliamps to run this pedal. Okay, that's a must. That's not a lot of power, but it doesn't show us the voltage diagram here for the power, but I guarantee you it is negative on the inside tap, and outside is positive, and 9-volt DC, which is standard pedal power supply even for Boss pedals. So anyway, there you go. It runs batteries, it runs power supply. We know there's not a battery in there, so we don't have to worry about anything going wrong there for long term there. Pretty cool. This is the box that it comes in as well. So you've got the box. So if you want to just zoom in a little bit on there. So overall, pretty decent pedal. It does what it says it does, you know, and it works really well. But they do say timing is everything, and they are not kidding you. If you want seamless, you got to be right on time. So there you go. That's my somewhat of a demo. Bit embarrassing, but like I said, I need to spend more time with the looper, obviously. It's great. So thanks for watching. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below of this pedal. Like I said, if you are interested, this will be back at the North Bay store in a couple of days. I only rented it for the week, so it will be back there sometime this coming week when I go into town next. So, like I said, that's the North Bay store, but if you are not at a North Bay store, you're somewhere else in Canada, you can always call the North Bay store, or have your store call them, like you're along McQuaid where you are, and have it transferred, and away you go, you can get this one. Unless there's more floating around the system, I don't know. But anyway, there you go. See ya.